Goku was an adult, but Piccolo is evil? Are we doing Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z?
Just be glad we're not doing Dragon Ball GT.
Amigos, Ramen coming at ya. Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3. A name so long, but well deserved. This game is regarded as one of the best Dragon Ball Z fighting games by Dragon Ball fans all over the world. For its insane roster of characters, its in-depth story mode that cover all of Dragon Ball history, even GT, and the music. The freaking music. I'm sorry, I just gotta play that opening. That is peak perfection right there. BT3, as time went on, gained a huge cult following among the Hispanic community, with modded versions of this game having an even crazier roster of characters that you couldn't even imagine. When the announcement for Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, the fourth entry in the Budokai Tenkaichi series, was announced, fans including me were very excited. This game promised a huge roster of characters, dynamic fights, and destructible environments. This felt like a dream come true, but some people were skeptical if this game was going to deliver on its promise of being the definitive Dragon Ball fighting game. 15 years later, after the third entry in the series, Sparking Zero dropped on October 10th. Now, we've had Dragon Ball Z games in the past that were either bad, good, or just okay. Was Sparking Zero gonna change all that and give us the best Dragon Ball Z game we all wanted and craved for? Well, hold your hand high for a spirit bomb as I take a look at Dragon Ball Sparking Zero and see if it's worthy of your time.
いいだろう。やっと出たようだな。DS で本格アクション。ドラゴンボール界アルティメット武闘で。
When looking back on Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3, the game felt like a dream for many Dragon Ball Z fans. Its unique feel and style was something many arena fighting games try emulating, but either failed or were just too lazy. And not to say some games didn't try, but there was something about BT3 that made it special for many DBZ fans. BT3 became the standard for Dragon Ball Z games going forward. Others tried their hardest to stand out and be different. And by different, I mean connect different. Man, I really hope the people who made this game got fired because what am I looking at?
Become a Super Saiyan. Play Dragon Ball Z like you've never played it before.
You sure about that? You sure about that? That's why? You sure it wasn't because after the thing that happened to me, no one could look at me without dying laughing?
15 years later, we were given the fourth entry in the BT series, Sparking Zero, developed by Spike Chunsoft. Sparking Zero feels like the classic Budokai Tenkaichi series we love and grew up with, but with more bells and whistles and a big graphical overhaul that stands out from other Dragon Ball Z games. I swear, everything from the ultimate attacks and transformations feels cinematic. Sparking Zero doesn't feel like a run-of-the-mill Dragon Ball game. It truly feels like an evolution of the BT series. For many who grew up playing BT3, this game feels like you're riding a bike again. The game gives you a choice to stick to the full controls, or if you're a veteran of the classic series, you can use classic controls. I opted in for classic controls as that's how I grew up playing the game, but the choice is up to you. Sparking Zero teaches you how to play the game in a fun way, with an intense battle with Goku and Vegeta. You're pretty much taught all you need to know the moment you turn on the game. The game teaches you special, combos, ultimates, and controls by just playing this one battle. The game also gives you the opportunity to practice these skills in training, which I recommend for newcomers going into this game. Take advantage of the training mode. Battles in this game get pretty challenging. Nothing worse than facing a great ape and dying over and over and over and over again. Screw you, great ape Vegeta fight!
Hey, he's just too OP, he's too broken. You not gonna beat him, I'm not gonna beat him, nobody gonna beat him.
He beat you fair and square.
Man, no, man, all he does is just stand in the back, just throw shit. shit.
The visual and style of Sparking Zero is something that has to be praised. Each character model looks smooth and full of detail, from the clothes to the hair. Each and every character had a lot of time and effort put into them. Sparking Zero could have easily pulled BT3 characters and upscaled them and call it a day, but they didn't. Every 180 characters all have care and thought put into them. Even Super Saiyan transformations and fusions and the fan favorite Super Saiyan 4 all look visually stunning, like they ripped it right from the anime. The maps in this game, from which there are a total of 12, each have their own charm to them. Each one's large in scale and beautiful to look at, with great lighting and atmosphere. There's also a day, night, and evening cycle for half of these maps. I really enjoyed this little detail in the martial arts tournament stage. When you do your ultimate attack, everyone evacuates. It's little things like this that make this game feel more real to the show. Each character you play as in this game have their own unique voice lines and animations. Unlike Budokai Tenkaichi 3, where some characters did feel and play the same, Sparking Zero, every character feels different to control. From giants to fast characters to small characters, no two characters feel the same, which gives you more an incentive to try each and every character and see which one works for you. What I admire about Sparking Zero is the character interactions when starting a battle. Each one feels different and kinda funny. If you pair GT Pan with Great Sandman, Pan will call Gohan her dad, and Gohan, still in character, breaks for a moment to question what Pan just said.
Dad, get out of that stupid costume already!
Hey, I've got a secret identity to keep, you know. Also, I'm sorry, did you just call me Dad?
This addition to Sparking Zero makes it fun to pick characters just to see how they will interact with one another. Sometimes you can pick a whole team of Gokus and see what they'll say to one another.
Guys better not have been using the Dragon Balls for something sneaky. Hey, I bet you're just Oolong or Poir playing a trick on me, aren't ya?
I don't think I'm supposed to be here.
Or you can pick the entire Ginyu Force and see them do their Ginyu Force thing. No two characters in Sparking Zero will ever feel copy and paste. The moment you transform or fuse your specials and moves, and the way your character plays will change. Which, if you never played that specific character, you have to adapt mid-fight. When I play Sparking Zero, I tend to go base form, then work my way up to the transformation. The rush I get when I see Goku and Vegeta fuse, or Goten and Trunks, it's something that made me fall in love with this franchise. Sparking made fusions, Super Saiyan power-ups look mind-blowing to look at. Heck, each frame could be used as wallpaper. That's how great this game's visuals look. To explain Sparking Zero's playstyle and mechanics, we have to look at the Dragon Ball Rage and Blast series and Xenoverse. These games each have their own features and additions that make them both stand out as Dragon Ball games. In Sparking Zero, transformations and switching characters are all allocated to the analog stick. This mechanic was also introduced in Rage and Blast, and it's one of the things I like most about those games. Just hitting the analog stick or D-pad, depending on the controls you choose in this game, you're able to transform by hitting the corresponding button on the analog stick. The transformation and switching characters are not instant. They rely on a skill count bar. The more hits you inflict on an enemy, the higher it goes, allowing you to access your transformations. Sparking also borrows the Rage mode from Raging Blast, which when powered up, allows you to deal more damage. It's a pretty neat addition, provided you pick the right character that can deal damage. Hercule. As for the features, Sparking borrows from Xenoverse. In BT3, you have to do certain button combinations to do a special or an ultimate. In Sparking, they made it easy to perform supers and specials by just pulling up a menu mid-battle and doing a single button press. This is a smart mechanic that was introduced in Xenoverse and made battles in Xenoverse so easy to master. Sparking Zero combines all the best features from both games as well as BT3 to create a battling system that's both easy for newcomers to the series and old fans. Having these moves be performed with less buttons makes you more focused on the battle, allowing for more strategy. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, like the game before it, is an arena fighter, so maps are more larger in scale, allowing more freedom to plan and attack. Each map is also destructible, depending how far and fast you hit your opponent. You can cause major damage to these stages. These destructible environments make this game feel like an epic battle pulled right from the anime. me, with debris and rocks floating everywhere. Every stage is fun to battle on and move around, from the World Martial Arts Tournament to Planet Namek to new stages like the Tournament of Power. While the stages in Sparking Zero do look nice, there are stages we've seen in other Dragon Ball games. Where's Outer Space from BT3 or Penguin Village? Nothing wrong with what we got, but I would like more stages to pick from in this game. Hopefully in the future we do get more stages in this game as DLC. What Sparking Zero excels at, like Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3, is the fighting. Everything feels so fast paced, with rush attacks, Kai attacks, and teleporting, which some people tend to overuse a lot. These essential combat techniques are the cornerstone of most Dragon Ball games, and have been refined and tuned to absolute perfection. Mechanics like Kai conservation and the skill meter is something players like you and me have to keep in mind, but for players who are playing online, whether it be ranked or DP battle or the World Tournament, it's essential to know when to teleport or when to power up, and to do a special. While I do tend to avoid ranked matches at all costs, there are still players out there who will still kick my butt. The people over at Bandai say this isn't a competitive fighting game, but since it came out, I really disagree. There is skill involved with this game, and there's new moves and techniques and things that players like you and me can learn and master. In Sparking Zero, there are character types that all players should know. Strength, Speed, Kai Blast, Giants, Androids, Ground Characters, Sword Characters, Super Auras, and Scouters. Each class offers a different playstyle, making each battle in Dragon Ball Sparking both diverse and exciting. There's skill and mastery involved with Sparking. You can get good while playing this game, and with 180 characters plus DLC, each have a different playstyle that's worth experimenting with to find out who you want to main. When I play, I go for the more Speed and Kai Blaster style characters, like Jiren or Gotenks. These two styles have become my go-to when playing online matches. Some people are real douchebags online, and once in a while you get a good fight, but sometimes you get those fights that force you to choose Giants and call it a day. While we're on the topic of style, the menu and UI are pretty nice. The character select screen has great presentation. When you choose a character, the model is displayed, giving you a full look at the character. The one mode that we all love in Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3 was the Encyclopedia mode, where Chi-Chi gives her thoughts on every character and roasts them. Well, now it's Chi-Chi, Fidel, and Bulma, and these three, they go off on some characters, even the ones related to them.
Oh, his eyebrows are gone! His delinquency has reached a new level! What do we do about this, Bulma?
Huh? What? Oh, yeah, he looks a little delinquentish, I guess.
Whatever makes them happy, I guess.
Damn, they did not have to do Gotenks like that. I like how it feels like you're hearing a Discord call between three moms who have a lot of free time. This mode I spent hours just seeing what they had to say about each and every character, and it did not disappoint. I take a whole show about these three just roasting our favorite characters any day. For every Dragon Ball fighting game that is released, there is a story mode that retells the entire events of Dragon Ball Z. For Sparking Zero, the story is told through the perspective of the character you choose. For instance, if you choose Goku, you're gonna play all the events of Dragon Ball Z's story as Goku. If you're Gohan, you're gonna play the story mode through Gohan's perspective. While playing through the story mode is pretty fun, one major problem with this story mode is the story is told through slideshows. There's barely any cutscenes in this game. There's also a lack of narration when there should be. I get that this story is told so many times, but I do wish there was more effort in the cutscenes. Lucky the cutscenes are skippable, so there is a way around them. Interesting aspect of story mode is the what if scenarios, like what if Goku fought Nappa alone, or what if Vegeta went Super Saiyan. These what ifs are pretty fun to play through, although in order to trigger them you have to complete a set of objectives in the story mode for them to be active, but when you do, it's rewarding. What ifs have been included in many Dragon Ball games since the dawn of time, and it's nice that Sparking has some pretty fun and insane what ifs to play through. Sparking Zero is perfect, but it has a few drawbacks. Sometimes I'm not able to do my specials in battle, or sometimes all of my moves end up becoming activated by the same button, so I can't do my move. Glitches like this might have been patched already, but I played the game 3 days early and experienced this problem many times. While playing fighting games, the soundtrack and effects are important, and Sparking Zero kills it. The opening alone I can listen to for hours. Everything from the Kai Blast to the specials to the voice acting is something to be enjoyed. There's not one song that didn't stick in my head. I do hope they incorporate more BT3 music in the future, but as the soundtrack goes, it's perfect. Music in Sparking Zero isn't just background noise. It's an essential part of the Dragon Ball experience. Each track elevates every battle. Each beat pushes you forward, making you feel like you're a part of the action. Sparking Zero's music is the heartbeat of every battle. Not every song hits, don't get me wrong, but when it does, it makes the fight so much more enjoyable. Each music track makes every fight and every victory in Sparking Zero unforgettable. Sparking Zero is a culmination of everything we love about the Budokai Tenkaichi series. The large-scale roster, the great music, and the sparring matches we had with friends near and far. Sparking Zero takes those great ideas from previous Dragon Ball games and refines them. This game has so much depth and heart put into it, thanks to the talented people behind it who cared about this game. It's a game I highly recommend for people who want a good fighting game with a ton of characters, a ton of good modes, and a ton of depth. This is a game that Akira Toriyama himself will be proud of. It's a celebration of all the characters he created through his lifetime. Rest in peace, Akira Toriyama. My name is Ramen. You have a good night.